Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Reverend Dr. Natalie Vail, and I'm coming to you from my office in the Bankers Hill neighborhood of San Diego, California. So I am offering today a little bit of a traditional church sermon. For those of you that don't know me, I am an ordained spiritualist minister, which means I've gone through like rigorous exercises to prove that I can actually hold space for people as an officiant, as a reverend, as a minister, as a preacher, and through the spiritualist tradition. And today I'm offering this for Harmony Grove Spiritualist Association in Escondido, California. So not only am I an ordained spiritualist minister, I am also a doctor of acupuncture, double board certified, national and state. I'm an herbalist. I'm a certified energy healer, Reiki master, shamanic priestess initiated, as well as a psychic medium. I do all the things. Anyway, so welcome. Welcome to my waiting room. Welcome to my office. And thanks for joining us. I think I see a few people on here that are goodies and oldies. So thank you, Rhonda, and thank you, Amy, for joining. All right. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that's really near and dear to my heart, and it's about trust. So who here has trust issues that you know of? Hey, Robbie. So go ahead and just write #trust if you know that you have trust issues. And let me give you a little bit of a pointer. Everybody has trust issues. So, we might think that we're so securely attached and that, we trust and we allow and we receive and all of that, but where do trust issues actually come from? Let's start there. So how we get trust issues, Teresa's like, trust. Rhonda, yes. So how we develop these issues is not by anything that we did wrong by any means, but just that life circumstances in general. So we've experienced any kind of trauma in our life, whether that's a capital T trauma, something really major that's happened to us, or just a succession of small t traumas that can build up and accumulate over time, as well as any adverse childhood experiences or just feelings of being disappointed over and over again. And a lot of this will originate from our childhood. So whether your parents were well-intending or not, their availability to us can definitely have an impact on our ability to trust that, mom left, is mom gonna come back, right? So there's these type of things that happen for us. Or, I really wanted XYZ and I got ABC instead. Or maybe I've wanted XYZ and I've never actually ever gotten XYZ, and so am I ever gonna get XYZ? And so I just keep hearing over and over again and being reflected that I'm never going to get that. So that can also create some issues around trust for us. Now, what ends up happening is that, these things happen for us, and then we create, because children, right, they need to gestalt all of the things and put it all together to make sense of it. So we create these distorted narratives or these stories that we play out in our head, which from those stories, we then have limiting beliefs that we continue to operate out of unconsciously. And from those limiting beliefs, create unwanted self-sabotaging behavioral patterns. So, which is maybe like overeating or, being in avoidance or denial or over drinking or like whatever coping mechanisms that we've created from all of this. So anyway, that's how we cope with these issues. Now, once we've, our trust has been, hurt in some kind of way, which it will because we're human, and that's just the way that it is. It's not anything bad, like I said. It's just part of our, human experience. Then from there, we want to have control over all the things, because now I don't trust anybody or anything, right? So I don't want to get hurt, and we're only motivated in life out of two things: fear and love. That's it. Those are the only two motivators that we have. And so fear that we're going to get hurt, or that we're going to lose what we love, or that we want to have, this thing that we love. So as we use those motivators, the control issues step in, and then we try to manipulate our environments, our relationships, ourself, to be able to have some sort of semblance of control, which helps us to bring us a sense of, security, which is really a false sense of security. Now, how we're going to heal those trust issues is through faith. Now, that sounds super easy. Just have faith, but what is faith really? Faith is that trust in not only ourselves, right, that we are resilient, adaptable, strong, that we can overcome whatever challenges, obstacles, struggles, trials are being presented to us, but also that the universe has our back, like the universe has our best interest at hand. Now, often when things happen in our lives that are not so awesome or wonderful, we start to then think that we're being punished, or that we've done something wrong, or that, again, we start to attract more of what we don't want. And this can also be inherited familial patterns. So if your family has had a lot of trauma in it, a lot of abuse, a lot of addiction issues, this addiction to turmoil or chaos can very much create more of that. And that can be an unconscious, subconscious patterning that we're just playing out. And so anyway, to take back, that sense of centeredness, and to no longer participate in these things that we don't want to create is really the ticket here. Now, who's here practiced the law of attraction? So just write #attraction if you have practiced the law of attraction. So the law of attraction, right, is very popular in the last decade or so, and all of the spiritual new thought teachers are all about it, right? So anything from Abraham Hicks to Wayne Dyer to Louise Hay to everything in between, And so what they're preaching to us is that our thoughts are things, right? So that we create our reality, that we are, co-creating with the universe at any given moment all of the time. So what does that do? In the beginning, it makes us feel like, oh my gosh, this is great, how revolutionary. I mean, actually, everybody who's watching this, you already know about the law of attraction, so everybody should be talking #law of attraction. So, because you're all woke, But anyway, so, okay, yeah, I can get what I want. And so then people start focusing on things like, okay, well, I want a better job. I want a better house. I want a love relationship. I want a new car. I want to win $10,000, whatever that is, right? And that's all very 3D and very of this human realm. And then we start to see that wow, this actually might work for me, right? And then to a certain point, right? To a certain point. And then what ends up happening is that we will hit a wall of resistance. Okay, we will hit a wall of resistance. And that wall that we're hitting is not because we're not meant to get that thing, which is what a lot of people will say, right? It's really easy to be well, it just wasn't meant to be, or we hit that wall, and instead of leaning into it and kind of discovering, going down this journey of what is this about for us, we try to force our way through it, right? So forcing our way through it, trying to knock down the door. If there's a will, there's a way. This is all very American, right? Mentality. So what that does is it actually pushes the thing that we want further and further and further away from us. So how do we get back to that is stepping into this state of allowing and being and receiving. So the wheels are in motion for whatever it is that we've been, putting into our vortex, as, Abraham Hicks would say, our vibrational frequency. We're constantly, every day, all day, we are constantly focused on what we want and what we don't want. And the universe hears that, whether we are actively praying or not, it's out there. So there's really not a lot for us to do other than to continue to gain clarity on what we want, which is really hard for us because, in society, we're being bombarded with all kinds of ideas about what we should want. Right? The American dream is this great big fallacy that we have in our culture that married to the perfect person, having the 2.5 kids, the dog, the white picket fence, all that yada yada. And so, and regardless of whether or not, that's been what you've done or not, that idea that this is what happiness equals, or that maybe we have it in our own head of what happiness equals, is really about discovering if that's really in alignment with us or not, or in our destiny. So, okay, for some of us it is, and for some of us it isn't, you know? And so for those of us that it's not, right, how can we keep aligning to what is in our destiny? Like, what is it that we do want? What does bring us happiness? Because that might be different from what brings somebody else happiness or joy or passion or pleasure or all of that. So when we're looking at like what it is that we want, what we're trying to manifest, you know, the more that we work towards it, the more that we try to force our agenda on the universe, the worse it gets for us. And then we end up getting exhausted and burned out and frustrated and irritable, and you know, and it just kind of like this spiral emotion. And whatever that is, like if you're trying to start a holistic business, I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs watching this. I've seen a lot of people, you know, like they quit their day job and then they go like, I'm gonna go be a holistic practitioner, and then get out into the world and like, I have this gift and it's beautiful and it's amazing, and everybody come, I've turned on my open sign, and then like, you know, they're like, oh my God, like, where is everybody and what's happening here? And how come this is not magic? Like, I know what I want. I'm hyper clear on that. You know, I'm focused, I'm direct, I'm working hard, like I'm willing to do all the things. And the universe is like, well, just wait and see, right? Like we have to allow for the divine timing to unfold organically in our lives. So that organic unfolding requires an immense amount of patience. And the more that we try to interfere with divine timing, again, the worse that it gets for us. So as we do, you know, this idea of like the non-interference of like, okay, it's out there, there are wheels in motion I don't even know about, the earth is turning, right? I could stand in this one spot all day and the sun is gonna rise and the sun is gonna set. And then it's going to rise again and it's going to set again. Because there is a time and a season for everything, right? So there's an ecclesiastic part of the Bible that talks about, actually that like somebody made into a song in the 1970s, you know, turn, turn, turn. You know, there is a season, turn, 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 right? So there is a rhyme and a reason for everything. And so when it's not happening for us and what we want, right? Again, so often do we get discouraged, upset, frustrated, sad, angry, whatever those emotions are, worried, lots of worry, right? Overthinking, overanalyzing. And then trying to we get caught up in the monkey mind of like this very yang aspect of like, what do I need to be doing? What do I need to be doing? Like, I can't tell you how many times I get that question as a psychic medium, you know, and nothing, just live your life, right? Because when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When you are in alignment with what you want, it will manifest for you, which is super hard for us, right? Because we come from this culture, again, that we think that it's like all on us, and it's not. Remember that we are not alone, that we are co-creating with the universe. The universe has our back, and it knows better than us. You know, like the ego is really real, right? The ego tells us that it knows better and that, you know, this is how it's got to be. And the ego is full of self-doubt and insecurity and inferiority and imposter syndrome and jealousy and envy and like all of the like not great pride, you know, all of the things. And so if we operate from that place, that's the yang place of the doing, the go-getter, the can't stop, won't stop. That's so much in entrepreneurship, you know, that and also so much in our culture. I'm trying to achieve, and like, again, pot, kettle, black. Let's be real, people, okay? I've got 6 planets in Capricorn, so I am a doer. However, right, so much of what this last year has done for us in the pandemic is to show us that like, you can run, but if there's a wall there, you're not gonna go anywhere. If everything is shut down, doesn't matter what you do. It's like, you know, we all have to wait for the alignments to come into place. And again, that involves a tremendous amount of trust. So going into that belief, that those affirmations that I am loved, I am being guarded, guided, and protected by the universe at every moment. And everything that is happening to me is happening for me. It's happening for my highest and best good, even if it's awful. Even if it's painful, even if I'm surrounded by chaos and uncertainty, which we hate uncertainty, right? We want to know all of the things, right? That's why everyone wants to open up their third eye chakra. They want to they think that their third eye chakra is this ability to see so far into the future, and then that's going to give them some grand plan, But no, what the third eye is about, third eye is actually very yin. It's about receiving, right? It's about shifting our consciousness, elevating our perspective, looking at things from that top-down view, from that bird's eye view. And when we get out of our head, out of the monkey mind, when we get out of the struggles of what it is to be human, and we come out and we look at it from the spiritual being perspective, it's yeah, that stuff isn't such a big deal, right? And as they say, don't sweat the small stuff. And yet, we try to focus on what we do have control over, which most of the time is the small stuff. So, write the mantra, the affirmation of the Lord's Prayer, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Serenity is peace. And if we can move into that place of peace, magic will happen. Acceptance is really, really hard, because acceptance is saying that I'm okay and it's all good. And what that means is not that I'm actually okay and that it's actually all good. It just means that it is what it is, and not from a place of apathy. Let's be really clear about that, because apathy is kind of giving up, and not in a beautiful surrender, release, allow way, but in a full-blown white flag surrender kind of a way. So defeat kind of a way. So if we can move into acceptance of, you know what, this is where I'm at right now, and things are going to change, right? That is aniksha, as the Buddhist would say, or the law of impermanence. All of the good things and all of the bad things and all of the things in between, the 10,000 things, as the Buddhist would say, are aniksha. So meaning that there is so much impermanence in our life. So if we get attached to all of the good things, then guess what the universe does? It comes in and it tries to balance us by pushing us into the bad things. And if we're all in the bad things, and then that just keeps creating our reality, it's really hard to get back over to the good things. So, not having attachment to what's happening in our life right now, not having attachment to the outcomes of where it goes, but recognizing that we're on this rock, it's a crazy ride. And that, staying humble because you are made of earth, and also knowing that you are made of stardust. So, right, that idea of knowing your greatness, but also staying humble within it is a beautiful thing. So, as we have acceptance, we gain peace, because we know that, this is going to be okay, right? I'm okay. Even if this is really, really bad right now, it's going to be okay. It's going to change, the courage to change the things I can. Now, this one gets mistaken a lot, right? The courage is about overcoming our fears, being brave, facing up to adversity, overcoming our self-doubts and our insecurities that we have, the stories in our head that tell us that it's never going to happen, that we're not good enough, that we don't deserve this, that we're unworthy, because there's so many of those stories. And again, how do they get there? They're not from you, or maybe they are, but not from, whatever. I'm not going to say you take all the ownership of all that, but these things get programmed, right? So recognizing that you're operating out of these programs and knowing that the voices in your head do not have your best interest at hand. I repeat, the voices in your head do not have your best interest at hand. So what is your intuition and what are the voices in your head? Your intuition hardly ever is telling you stories. Your intuition is a feeling. It's a sense, And don't trust everything that comes through here, right? It's kind of don't trust everything that you read. Because a lot of times what happens is we think it's the third eye, and it's not. It's what, our ego is desirous of and getting in the way of and creating story around, as well as the voices in our head. So it takes all of this effort to retrain and reprogram and shift the tapes and the narratives that are there that say, you can't and you shouldn't and you're bad, or, guilt, shame. So, courage. I'm going to face those stories. I'm going to face those inner demons, right? There's the inner and the outer demons that we have, right? And so much we project. I know some people that, this is a thing. We do this because we don't want to take ownership because that's painful. And I get that. And there's no shame in that. But projecting it out that it's, it's external circumstances, right? And really, obviously, we know from the law of attraction that everything is internally generated. And so not doing that to beat up on yourself, because that is counterproductive, but to look at, okay, what can I do to keep realigning to what I actually want versus what the stories and the voices are telling me. And that is the wisdom to know the difference. And wisdom requires practice. That life is a practice, that we are not here to be perfect. That's not the goal. The goal is to have all of the experiences, to meet all of the people, to share our lives with people, to be open to other realities, other potentials, the fact that there's more for us, and not from like a greedy way, but just in a way that we are ever evolving, that we are ever changing, that we are ever shifting. You are a magnificent being, magnificent being. And your scars and your pain and all of that are what make you so beautiful, right? And it's the recognizing of those things, from a place of vulnerability, of being able to say and to own them, that allows us to move into wisdom. Because wisdom is applying all of the knowledge that we gain. And we don't gain knowledge unless we have some sort of experiences, right? And unless we have challenges, obstacles, struggles along the way. If we didn't have these things, then there would be no growth. And what are we here for? We're here for personal growth, spiritual development, and evolution. So evolve, right? Trust, allow, surrender, practice non-attachment, practice non-interference, meaning get out of the way, right? It's happening. It's already happening, whether it's you like it or not, and it's not on your timeline. And the only way that it is on your timeline is the ability to slow it down, which is by interfering, by trying to control outcomes, circumstances, other people, right? Or by allowing, which is trusting that I am okay and it's all good and I accept where I'm at right now as a gift. I bless you and I leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching today. And if you haven't already, please like my page, Reverend Dr. Natalie Vail on Facebook and Instagram. I will be uploading this to YouTube, so share if you feel like it's relevant and helpful to your friends and family. And if you haven't already, please like Harmony Grove Spiritualist Association on Facebook and on Instagram as well. This has been my honor and my privilege. Thank you for allowing me to step into my role as a minister. It is a great gift to be a channel for divine source, and I hope that you all found this message inspirational because it came from a place of love. My greatest, deepest, most sincere gratitude to you all. May all beings be happy.